You enter too early, you're gonna get spiked out. You enter too late, you need a wide stop loss. It's not about how much can I lose, but if the trade doesn't work, do you have space to run away? If you do not know where you're going, then how do you know what your risk is? Stop loss cannot be standalone. It needs to be accompanied with take profits. When it comes to stop losses, what's the process of stop loss? I generally do not talk about stop losses because it's an advanced topic. Okay, so let's understand it. What is the word stop loss mean? I want you guys to understand one thing. Is risk based on market or is it based psychological? The reality is risk is personal. It has everything to do with your own personality. Okay, now let me ask you guys one question. If there is a trade, I tell you there's a nice trade right here, for example, you're gonna buy it here, but your stop loss needs to be here and your take profits right here. So you're doing a buy, take profit right here, and stop loss below you. Is that good or bad? Okay, now here's the thing. The reason why I say psychological is because everyone's going for this word that risk reward is critical. And yes, it is critical. And let me ask you guys one thing. Let's go with everything in the world. When you buy a restaurant, are you looking to turn 100% profit or 200% profit in 1 week? In 1 year? In 2 years? No. Next thing, real estate. When you buy a property, 100% profit in 1 week. Okay. All right. Next thing, when you buy a product. Okay, let's go. You say you go buy an iPhone and then you want to sell it on Google or you want to sell it on Amazon. You're going to get 100% on whatever you bought it for. Okay. Right. So the only thing that we're forcing ourselves on is trading. And trading is the only way where we're like, well, we're putting money there, so it better turn a lot of profit. Okay. A lot of profit, okay, which is high reward, doesn't necessarily come from high risk. Not necessarily. A high reward comes from higher education. It's a better understanding of what you're involved in, whether it's trading or anything. It's what you're involved in. If you do not have a higher understanding of that, then you're doing high reward and extremely high risk. Does that make sense? Okay, now stop losses also are a piece of what we call timing. Well, timing is like a meter gauge, it's like this. You enter too early, you're gonna get spiked out. You enter too late, you need a wide stop loss. Timing requires a balance in between which gets you the right stop loss. Okay, imagine I gave you that timing course right now in the beginning without even going through any of the other thing prior that I trained you with. It's not going to be possible, right? You guys are going to be like, I don't know what he's talking about. Because to reach the area of timing, you must understand every process of throughout it. So if I tell you like, okay, the markets are here as a support and resistance and markets are coming down, and we're like, yeah, man, I can see it. I'm going to hit the buy right there. Stop loss just below my recent low. That stopped me out. Okay, so since I'm stopped out, if I enter later, let's say I'm like, oh, I can see it's finally going. I enter there. Oh, that stopped me out. But I was right. It was going up in a buy because I can see it here. You see this little range of too early, deadly, too late, deadly, right? Yeah, so this is something you want to keep track of. And it doesn't have to be with, is my stop loss wrong? Maybe my stop loss is wrong. It has nothing to do with stop loss and has everything to do with time. How you're entering the market and when you're entering the market. Okay, so first things first is understanding the logic of where you enter. Okay, if I say you have to do a buy trade and there is a stop loss here. Okay, how many of you guys are looking at the stop loss in terms of pips? How many of you guys are looking at the stop loss in terms of, well, how much am I gonna lose? They're going straight for the money, okay? And how many of you guys are looking at it like, okay, well, what's my stop loss against my take profit? Okay, do you see stop loss can be attacked with different areas? This, money management. It can be attacked with many processes, but you can see all of this is at some point psychological. The first level, the one that's you're going for the pip number. Okay, I'm gonna go for 20 pips every single time. 20 pips, 30 pips, that's it. That's my stop loss, baby. Okay, you're going that because that threshold tells you that that should be sufficient. Should be psychological. The one that goes dollar amount, well, okay, I can risk $1,000. No more than that. Okay, that's your threshold. Psychological. It has nothing to do with the markets. This one, well, if I'm gonna put my take profit here, right there, outside my screen, then it makes sense to put my stop loss here, Then I got like a 45 risk to reward. Okay, also psychological. It's like, does it have any logic to it? Is there any reasons why that's there? You know what I mean? So another issue there. And then there comes the money management, which is the one that says, am I willing to lose this amount? Okay, I want to give you guys a little hack today, okay? When you trade, isn't the answer yes, you're going to trade? It's just a matter of when. Like, you're going to trade. Like, there is no doubt about it. You're going to trade. You need to get that in your mind. You're going to trade. Now the only thing that you need to worry about is how much am I going to lose? That should be a primary concern because this is a given. That's a given. You're going to trade. Let me pull it to you this way. Let's say all of you guys have 100K in your account, and okay, you're not trading right now. You're in a position to go buy a house. You got 100K in your account, and you're like, I know I have to buy a house. What's your next step if you know you have to buy a house? What's the next piece? Risk. It's risk. What's the best thing I can do to make sure I don't lose? But you know you have to buy a house, so stop trying to say, well, this house is good, this house is good, this house is good, this house is good. This is all generated by greed. It needs to be the other way around. It needs to be generated by fear a bit. Well, it's not about which house is good. Which house will I survive in? Which house is not 500% profit potential, but it's sitting next to a volcano? I mean, come on. Like, we don't want that house. Yeah, location, location, location. And the location aspect is exactly the same thing in trading. Timing, timing, timing. It's the location part. That's all it is.
Now, are you curious about the exact strategy Naveen has been using to approach the markets? The Mastering Price Action course reveals all of that. In that course, you're going to understand the logic behind each price action movement. And from that, you will be able to take your trading to the next level by having a much more solid understanding of the markets. And because you're a subscriber, just click on the link in the description below to access our exclusive discount. Time to take your trading to the next level. All right, let's get back to the video.
Let me show you guys an example of something like this. And I'll walk you through the whole process in a bit. I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. Okay, stop loss, something like that. Take profit was up there. Okay, what happened to this trade? This trade, did it go to my take profit? My take profit's the top part of that green line. Did it go up there? No. However, I was able to run away with that trade and pull out still $99 out of it. Small amount, I know, but I was able to pull out something from it. Now, it has a lot to do with risk to reward. It's not about how much can I lose, but if the trade doesn't work, do you have space to run away? You see, stop loss gives you that ability to understand that logic. Agree? Okay, let's go into this a little bit. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it two trades side by side. I'm going to take a screenshot so you guys can see. Let's take a look at this first on the left screen. The left screen, I have a 4-hour chart. So we got the 4-hour charts right here, okay? And I'm looking at this chart based from the daily. I came in from the daily, so I'm looking at the charts from a higher perspective. So from the daily, I saw this gap happen, and I'm like, okay, strong markets are busting through, which is like, okay, seems to be buyer's market, right? They're going up very, very hot. The next thing I'm doing is I'm looking at my techniques of price action, which is like, well, if the price is going up, I put myself in the shoes of, well, let's say everyone wants the house. So what happens to the price of the house if everyone wants the house? Prices rise. Okay, if prices are rising, and if they're rising very fast, if they're rising extremely fast, what does that mean? If they're rising extremely fast, it means there's a demand. There's a lot of people willing to buy it, which means prices are gonna get expensive. Very, very expensive, right? If prices are gonna get expensive, do we want to buy it up here? No. We're sitting on the sidelines of, okay, buddy, give me a discount and I'll buy it. You see, where the most problem comes in is the idea of, okay, give me a discount, I'll buy it. Oh, here's a discount, let me buy it. But we don't take it a step further. We need to take it a step further of, once you get the discount, is the demand still there? Does that make sense? Is the demand still there? So we're looking for these two things. That is your timing. You're looking for that balance between, okay, I'm getting a discount, but are they flooring the discount where it's like discount after discount after discount? We're like, well, I guess it was a bubble. Okay, so let's get into this thing. So prices are coming down, getting you a discount, and you're watching this area. It's like, okay, it's coming down, but look at the speed it's coming down. I don't like that. Okay, stops here, messes around a little bit, chop, 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 and then some rising here. Rises hard. Interesting. Rises hard again. Okay, but why did the price drop so dramatically from here? That's something to concern ourselves with. Okay, just like we say the price has risen really, really hard, okay? Just like prices rise very, very aggressively, that means there must be a lot of buyers. But just like when prices drop so aggressively, there must be a lot of discount there. So what if there's a discount there again? I don't know. So what if as it's rising and I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It's going up. I don't trust it. It's going up. I don't trust it. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. Am I going to be safe? Yeah, it's too late, right? And let's talk about a little bit on the late before I get into the details. No one knows it's a buy because they're looking at it like that. Like, oh, it's pulling down. Lower low sequence kind of like pulling and everything is red. So it must be a down. When do they recognize it's a buy? Only beyond this stage. right? It's at that point they recognize it's a buy. So if it's at that point the public is buying, where do you think they're putting their stop losses? So can I say this low right here? That's too far, because that's the lowest low, but it doesn't gel psychologically. That doesn't, it's like, I can't, I'm risking too much to make a little bit of money. It doesn't make any sense. No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, what about this low? Okay, so I'm entering here. Okay, I'm risking that much. Seems to be a little bit safer, but I don't know where I'm going. If I don't know where I'm going, how do I know how much is my risk, right? So do you notice stop loss cannot be standalone? It needs to be accompanied with take profits. If you do not know where you're going, then how do you know what your risk is? Okay, so that's a question number one. Let's take it from there and let's pace ourselves. Okay, now going forward, look at this after this area here when we have aggressive sellers here and we're starting to pull back again, okay? It's pulling back and then we see aggressive sellers again. Now, if you want to remove the word sellers and say discounts, that means why are they giving such a discount? What's going on? We don't like it. Okay, and then what happens after that discount? What do you see here? Aggressive buyers pushing in. Okay, step by step, we see some aggressive buyers, okay? Aggressive buyers coming in. Are those buyers anywhere close to the discounts? Are they gobbling that up? No, we're still standing by. Then the next seller comes in and he's like, oh, aggressive too. Look at that. Look at it. He comes all the way down to here, very aggressive. But then what is this? What's that slowdown right there? Okay, this whole time while you're getting discounts and stuff like that, always keep in mind, every time you get a discount, around this price, the people who want the house keep coming back and gobbling it up. But they're giving a lot of discount, less discount. Okay, after that less discount, what's happening here? Yeah, no lower low followed by boom. Very, very aggressive buyers were like, okay, I think I'm onto something. Okay, I think I'm onto something. Looks like my buyers are coming back. Notice all this garbage I had to sit through. You see how timing plays a big role of you get in anywhere in there, you're not giving your chance to win, although you know that the direction might be a buy. Although if it ends up going high tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and you're like, I knew it was a buy, well, what's the point if you didn't make any money? Well, what's the point and if it goes in a buy after hitting your stop loss? And at the same time, we also think, well, if I put my stop loss down here and it does go in my way and I make some money, well, what's the point as well? And then psychology kicks in saying, what a waste of time. Does that make sense? So now our job is to get this little stop loss here to an area that's psychologically acceptable, but also at the same time telling us it's valid. That's when your risk comes into handy and saying, okay, you know what? Go for it. I will support you. Okay? Seems like hindsight? Well, I'm telling you, I was in this trade myself. Okay, right after that, when the market comes in very, very aggressive here as a buy, I'm looking at it like, okay, I still don't believe it, which means one extra step, saying I still don't believe it. It comes into this area where aggressive sellers came in, and I'm still expecting aggressive sellers to come back in. But what is this? Is that aggressive sellers or aggressive discounts? No. I'm actually looking at this now. I'm jumping over. I'm like, okay, I want to see the fine details of this. What's going on? And I'm watching it. It's like coming down, chop, coming down, chop, coming down again. And then same concept, slow down here, followed by angry buyers, aggressive buyers. It's like, okay, wait a minute now. With all these pieces put together, I had to wait through the whole process, but I also see my first higher low. Does that make sense? Now we're getting a first higher low, but remember that one thing I said. What is the public looking at this? The public is looking at this as this thing is a downtrend, which means sell, 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 correct? So it's not visible to the public. The public is looking at this as we need to sell this, the average trader. And you're looking at this like, well, sell it. I need some people to buy. You know, if I want to buy the house, I need someone to sell me the house. It's that simple. I can't buy, if I'm buying and everyone's buying, well, who are we going to make money from? Who's selling it to us? No one. Who are we going to make money from? Okay? So you want to think of that in that concept of, in this process, what happens? So here, yesterday, I hit the buy, okay? I hit the buy. What do we do now? What's my stop loss? I put my stop loss below my recent low here, but why? Is it because that's just my recent low and the industry says put your stop loss below your recent low? Is it because it's 20 pips away? Yeah, it's because that's where the move up is beginning and that becomes our most logical point. Here's the next piece. Remember on the 4-hour chart where everyone kept hitting the sells? Where is that area? Here, here, here. If I draw a line across that area and say these are all the areas where they're hitting it from, okay? And if I buy it from here, am I away from the area where they keep hitting the sells from? Now keep in mind, if I'm doing a buy, the first thing I'm looking for is, okay, if I need to run away from my trade if it doesn't work, because that is a possibility. This possibility no one looks at. They're like, once I'm in a trade, there's no way I'm gonna lose. That doesn't happen. You need to come into terms with reality. There is a possibility that you can still lose. So if you take that into consideration, that if the trade is not gonna work in my favor, can I run away? That idea of I am buying it as close to the bottom where all the buyers are hitting it from seems to be better. So in this area, notice how there's buyers here, buyers here, buyers here. Look at that on the 4 hours right here. Notice that area. And this is the area where sellers hit it, sellers hit it, sellers hit it. Now where I'm entering needs to be away from that in case the trade doesn't work. And that's what I mean by run away. If the trade comes back at me, even though my trade started to work out in my favor, but then when he started to come back at me saying, oh no, we're coming in not slowly, but aggressively, I can say, I don't want this trade anymore. I don't believe the time is right now, because even as a professional trader, I can still be wrong in my timing, right? It's not like I'm God. I mean, I make, I can be off in my timing too, right? So, but I need to give myself that ability to run away from the trade and be like, I'll try again. I'll try again. But if you always enter the trade in an area where you cannot run away from the trade, then every try that you make is a loss after loss after loss. And then one time when you make a take profit, you're like, well, I just covered my loss. Then what's the point of trading? It's like I do 3 losses, 1 big win, but the win is covering my losses. So I'm in this constant cycle of I'm not getting anywhere. Right? I personally do not recommend trailing stops at all. Trailing stops is done mechanically. There is no logic, there is no thought process involved. We need to look at stops as a pure justification of our psychology put together with what the market is showing us and saying, okay, I'll allow this. Not, this looks good, I'll just put my stop loss below the most recent lowest thing that I see. We can't just do it like that every single time. We need to make sense of, is this a go? Okay? Okay, so at what point do I move my stop loss? Here's the thing. When the charts are starting to move in your favor, right here, when you get in and you're like, okay, you're going up, you're making 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, you're making money. And then at what point do you start getting stressed like, something's wrong? Is it when the price comes back to here? See, this is the major part where there's a big problem with a lot of the traders. When the trade goes into their favor, they become euphoric and think nothing can go wrong. When the trade comes down a bit, they think, it's okay, it's just a little pullback. What's the big deal? And then when the trade comes down till here, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm sure I need to get rid of this. Yeah, obviously, by that point, you're like bleeding. Okay, but why not in this area? Can you guys tell me why not in this area? Because this same thing happens to every single person is when you hit a buy, you only see the buy. You never see the sell. Any pullback doesn't look like a seller. It just looks like a temporary pullback. It's okay. It'll continue. You forget that there's a possible seller in the market. So you get hijacked. Your brain gets hijacked. Now, when you can fix that and saying, okay, I can not get hijacked, and look at it very, when you can look at it very with an open mind, I started to notice this thing like, okay, this is an area where there's a problematic area where all the sellers hit it. But so is this area here. I know I'm away from it, but first try, nothing. Second try, wick on top. Third try, I'm like, okay, there's a problem here. First thing to do, stop loss 0. I don't want this trade to come against me. That's the absolute first thing we need to do, stop loss 0. Now, why are we putting the stop loss to 0? This is a problematic area, okay? Problematic area, right? Now, we have sellers hitting it from here, sellers hitting it from here. I'm in the trade making profit, and in this area, I'm seeing problems again. I'm like, I'm not able to breach that area. It's tried 2 candles. It's already starting to get aggressive in that area, and I'm like, okay, I don't like the way this thing is looking. Stop loss 0, first stage. The next stage is, I can easily say, okay, well, my stop loss is 0, so my stop loss is 0, so I should just be able to walk away, okay? Okay, in this process, markets are coming down, coming down, coming down. I was like, the way these sellers look, do they look weak at all or aggressive? Stop loss to 0 means back to 0, where if the trade goes against you, you don't lose any money. That's your entry point. Now, if they're aggressive, that's a good sign. That means I need to get out of this trade ASAP. So here's a screenshot of the moment I exited the trade, is when that red candle was coming down in my face and I'm sweating blood at this stage, right? If my buy is supposed to go, then what are the sellers doing here? that means the timing is not right yet. I gave it a shot. I gave my stop loss a chance, but I gave myself a winning chance, not a losing chance. Does that make sense? Okay, so guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming here, and it's always wonderful to see you guys. Cheers. Bye for now.